Alright guys, welcome back to my one of my little podcast videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening in. I got a good friend here today. His name is Rick. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Rick.
Yeah, like Jesse said, my name is Rick. I work in the oil field. I do quality inspection of parts. And I'm real good friends with Jesse, like he said.
You wanna how many years have we known each other now? Like 5 or more?
I think more, because I remember when we first met, you were selling with your mother and father across from them, actually, in your own little shop. So you had to be like, what, 15, 16?
Dang. We go way more. We go more back than me and Mike.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was just more of, hey, I like those figures that you have. How much are they? Or, I got some stuff to trade, and that's kind of how our friendship started. And it just went on from there, and here we are. Years later, fixing to talk about something we both love, customs.
Yeah. For background, in case anybody who doesn't know what Rick's talking about, I do sell toys at a flea market as a little side hustle. So that's what he's talking about. That's how we met. He collects toys, I collect toys, and he came into my little business, and we traded, and he bought stuff from me over the years, and I bought stuff from him. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So basically, what we're gonna be talking about today, if anybody who wants to do customs in the future, this is a good podcast to listen to right now. If you wanna hear us talk more about customs, we'll definitely talk more about customs if you guys like this episode. So I guess the first thing we can talk about is how we got started.
Yeah, exactly.
What inspired you, Rick, to make customs?
I have to say, there's a little history in that, but I would have to say my inspiration really to do customs was you. Seeing the amazing things you did with the Marios and all this other stuff, and I know it's a sore subject between us sometimes, because you were always telling me I should get into it, I was talented or whatever. But a little history before that, I was making costumes.
I remember that.
Yeah, and the reason why I was making costumes was because I kind of seen these amazing things people were doing with this stuff laying around the house. So I'm just like, well, instead of paying for this high dollar stuff out there, maybe I can make my own. And I started doing it and started getting better at it. And one thing led to another, and I went to Comic-Cons, got recognized, won contest, made costumes for other people, and then from there, kind of expanded into making my customs, like a big leap. But they say everything happens for a reason, and I think making costumes helped me with just being creative and seeing 2D to 3D and painting techniques. And I think that helped me to now, doing the customs. I mean, how about you, Jesse? I mean, what motivated you to, or inspired you to get into customs, especially in the Nintendo world?
Well, before we say how that I got inspired, which honestly I'm not 100% sure where it started, but so you like to cosplay and all that stuff. That's the reason you make costumes, because you like. Yes. Cosplaying, going to conventions.
Yes.
And I'll post some pictures here on the video. That way you guys can see what we're talking about, because he's really talented when it comes to making costumes. Like you made, you dressed up as
Samurai Darth Vader.
I like that one.
We made a Sam from Trick or Treat. I made a mask for Jesse's brother here, Undertales.
Yeah.
And I mean, the list can go on and on, but yeah, and to be honest, my inspiration again on that was just seeing what other people were doing and trying to mimic it and trying to learn it, you know. So, which, like I said, brought me into the custom world. But again, you know, my inspiration was, you know, the man right here, Jesse. You know, and he introduced me to, and we'll get into it. He introduced me into like paints and you know the right
clay,
material, yeah, the clay to sculpt with, and
Epoxy
again,
sculpt.
this like he's saying, you know, this we're kind of gonna cover a couple of different subjects. But if you have any questions, you know, I mean, feel free to hit Jesse up. I mean, he has a lot of knowledge on this stuff, and yeah, I mean, he's willing to share. Believe me, he is.
Yeah, just message me privately sometimes. Like, sometimes I don't read all the comments. But if you message me directly, I'll definitely be happy to answer that. And while we were talking about as we go through this episode, I'm gonna mention some tools that you guys should need, like clays. What clays do I use? What paints do I use? You know, stuff like that. Stuff that you can use to make your own custom. So if you want to get into making customs, this is a good thing to listen to. So just stay tuned. So yeah. Back to what I was saying. What Rick was asking me about what inspired me. I'm not 100% sure. I think I just don't remember. But I remember seeing. Okay, I think I do remember. I remember wanting toys that did not exist. There you go.
Exactly.
That's what inspired me, because I remember collecting these Voltron toys
Yeah.
from the 80s. I don't know why I like 80s toys, since I wasn't born in the 80s, but I just love 80s toys back then.
Because
And
the '80s was awesome.
you are from you're 80s,
Yeah,
right?
I grew up in the '80s.
Yeah, that's true. You grew up in the 80s. And I used to collect these Voltron toys, but they didn't make one particular character, and that's the Black Pilot,
Oh,
which he died in the show, so they never made any merchandise for him. So I was like, man, I want the Black Pilot. I believe his name is Sven. And so what I did is I just grabbed a Sharpie, grab a Voltron toy, and just painted it. Just painted it with Sharpie, and that's my first custom, which I'll post on the screen. That's what inspired me. It inspired me. The reason that I made it is because I wanted to make toys that did not exist.
and I mean, and Jesse hit it right, the nail right on the head. I mean, when you get into customizing, that's exactly what should drive you. Making something that doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Or creating your own idea. And you'll be amazed, I mean, at what you think you can't do, and you do it. Because I was a skeptic at first. I mean, you know, like I said, me and Jesse known each other for quite some years, and he was always trying to push me because of the costumes to get into sculpting, and I was just like, yeah, no, yeah, you know. And then finally one day, you know, he finally got through, and we pulled the trigger, and, you know, here I am. Like, I've only been sculpting now maybe a year and a half, but you know, Jesse will post some pictures of some of the stuff I've done. The genre I do is more horror, you know, versus Jesse's Nintendo or Mario characters. So it's a little different genre, but the techniques that are applied to it are kind of the same.
Yeah, like I've been begging you to buy this clay for over 5 years, which I use epoxy sculpt. I want to get into materials a little bit later, but that's the clay that I use. It's epoxy sculpt. I'll post a picture on the screen. I was begging Rick for a long time, for over 5 years, to buy this clay, and he finally did it, and he's doing amazing work.
Thank you. Like I said, I got inspired from what you were able to do, you know, with you know, your vision and the techniques in this clay. This epoxy sculpt that he uses it's very easy to work with, and I mean, it just kind of it flows. I mean, if you're gonna get into sculpting, I recommend starting there. It's not very expensive, and it gets the job done.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't use any other clay than epoxy sculpt. Like Rick said, it can be it's not expensive, but if the more pounds you buy, the more, I guess, expensive it gets. But you'll be saving money in the long run.
Exactly.
But start off with 1 pound of clay, right? I think that's the lowest.
Yeah. If you're you know, you're not sure, and you don't want to take the dive and spend that much money, I would suggest, like what Jesse's saying, just buy the cheapest epoxy sculpt that's available, and like you said, I think it's the 1 pound. There's variations of colors. I don't know about Jesse, but I recommend the white.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Because it's very easy to see the details in that versus the black, the red, or any other colors they offer. So white definitely.
That I 100% agree with that. I have bought the other clays, like the gray one, and I do not like it compared to the white.
It seems the gray one seems like you see a little bit more gritty, and
Yeah,
instead of the smoothness that you can get in the white one.
yeah.
And I think it's just the detail. I mean, once you apply the paint, you can see more of the details, but we'll get into that later.
So I encourage you guys to, if you want to get into customs, pick up the lowest pound of clay you can get, and just customize your first toy. Use a McDonald's toy. Like just start sculpting anything. Just
And I know there's a lot of videos out there of sculptors using all these fancy tools, but I can tell you from firsthand, and Jesse can tell you, you don't need all those tools.
no, you definitely do
You
not.
you just need an imagination and a pen, maybe a paper clip, a popsicle stick. I mean, anything that you can smooth lines and
Yeah,
make circles, and I mean, you can go outside and get a rock from the ground and make texture on this clay. I mean, it's amazing on what you can do with this stuff and what you can use. You don't need all the fancy tools. You do need a paintbrush set, but there's a lot of cheap paintbrush sets out there. Walmart, Hobby Lobby. They got some $5 sets. And I do recommend getting multiple sizes. Because depending on, you're going to do some fine detail or you need full coverage. So I do recommend that. I don't know. What about you, Jesse? What do you think?
Definitely. Like if you're gonna start doing customs, you do not have to spend a fortune. Start off little. Start off just with a couple of stuff. Buy brushes like Rick was saying. I think that's the most important thing you need is the brushes and the clay and obviously the paint. The paint, that's where it can get a bit expensive. I use Model Master paint, but what I found out, I'm not sure if I told you, Rick, but they discontinued my brand of Model Master paint.
I noticed that the last time I went, it was all half price, like 50 cents. But I've been, in replace of that, I've been using Valeros, I think that's how you say it. We'll post a picture of it.
Yeah.
But that's what I've been using, and it seems to work, not as good, but almost as good. You get the same effect, but you have to apply a little bit more layers. That's it. So
I'm gonna have to check that one out because I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm basically running on fumes with my paints, but I am worried about that. So I'll definitely get that one. I'll try it out.
yeah, so me and Jesse are sitting here, and we're, if anything, guys, don't just take our word for it. Do some research, see what other people are using. You're gonna have to experiment, to see if you like it, if that's you, that paint and you are one with whatever you're doing. That's what I recommend. I'm pretty sure, I'm trying not to speak for Jesse too much, but I'm pretty sure he agrees. Find what works for you. You don't have to use what me and Jesse use. We're just trying to give you pointers and give you a point on where to start. I mean, Jesse has lots of videos, and he doesn't have to, because believe me, there's lots of sculptors out there that for some reason don't want to show you their techniques. Jesse shows you from beginning to end, and you can do your own. I mean, he'll be proud if you send him a picture of something you've done.
Definitely. A lot of people have shown me in the past their customs, and I love it. I love when you guys show me your customs. It fills me, with pride, and like I'm proud of you guys when you guys send me customs. So please, if you want to show me some customs, message me on Facebook or on Instagram. I'll definitely answer on Instagram a lot quicker. All right, so basically moving on. The creative process. Like, let's talk about the creative process, Rick. What is your creative process when you want to make something? Like, how do you start? Like.
So of course it starts with inspiration, right? So it might be anything from my favorite, group, as far as like different genres of music. Like for example, I like some Slipknot. So I seen there wasn't any figures out there, so I was like, I started researching to see if anybody had made any customs and what they were doing, and then I go into what motivated me, what character out of the band do I want to start with. So uh, I start researching what they look like and what their mask and what their uniforms are, and I start from there. That's pretty much the idea is first, and then second comes looking for a base.
Yeah, there you go.
Or how I'm gonna go about making this figure, and then of course what kind of clothes am I gonna am I gonna make my own, or is there some existing clothes out there that I can find? So that's pretty much my process, and then once I get all those materials together, I'll start sculpting the features on the if it's something that's already existing, and like a GI Joe, for example, a 12-inch figure, I'll sculpt over that face to get the face that I want. So that's pretty much my process. Versus Jesse might do it, similar but a little different. I mean, he can explain it to you.
So basically, when it comes to my creative process, it all depends. Like what Rick said, if the toy doesn't exist, I would like to make that. But I guess if when it comes to my Marios, like if I see an idea thrown out at me that is really good, I'll take you up on that idea, guys. So like sometimes, like for example, let's say I like a certain show, like let's say Invincible. I'm not sure if you've heard of Invincible. Yes. It's a comic book turned into a show on
just
Amazon.
Recently, right? Yeah, recently. Yeah, I've heard of it.
I totally recommend that. I think you can I don't think you have Amazon Prime.
No, but my neighbors. This is another thing. When you start getting into customs, you meet other what's the word I'm looking for?
Like-minded.
Yeah, like-minded people that sculpt, and you start seeing their amazing work, and that's how I know about the one you're talking about, because he already started making some custom figures. Yeah.
From Invincible.
Yes, a friend of mine. He does nothing but Marvel characters, or DC. So we got. So like I said, you meet people who got inspiration to do stuff that you don't do, and that inspires me. Just like inspires Jesse. To see me doing my own stuff. So.
Exactly. So yeah, like I like that show a lot, Invincible, and there's a character named Omni-Man that I really enjoy that character. So I was like, ooh, I would love to make a Mario of him. So that's how my creative process starts.
Is that the guy that looks like Flash, or is that the guy that he's muscular and white and red?
Yes, white and red. Yeah. Basically the Superman of the show. Like I really enjoy that character, so I wanted to make a Mario out of him. So I grabbed Mario, start prepping him, remove the hands, the head, and then I just go at it, start sculpting. So yeah, I'll start sculpting the head first, and then start sculpting the body, and then start painting it after the clay dries. So that's basically my creative process.
So I mean, and saying that, do you like to start at the head first, or where do you like to start? Me, I like to start on the face. That kind of sets the pace for me, like where I'm going from there. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way, because it's your vision, right? And you have a vision when you take that Mario and you look at it, you already have a vision of what you're gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of what I do too when I take whatever base I have. Like, for example, again, a GI Joe, I kind of look at the different body types and then the facial features and say, okay, yeah, this is the expression is halfway there. Let me build off of that.
Yeah. But I do agree. The face will set the tone for the toy, and it motivates you more, I feel. And so I usually start off with the face. It definitely motivates me. So
and which kind of, now that we're talking about actually getting into it, and how we go about our process. There's other things, guys, that fall into that. One of them is being patient. And I mean, and Jesse can attest for this. You know, you it's in us as humans, you know, to like want to see the finished product. And sometimes you get in a hurry, but believe me, guys, and when you do that, you're going to be upset with the conclusion of your figure, and you're just going to end up doing it all over again and spending more time on it. So, you know, some advice: take your time. You know, let the clay dry. You know, paint a little bit of it one day. You know, let it dry. Come back a couple hours later, paint some more. You know, it might take you. You know, some of my customs take me a week or two to finish. You know, depending on how far I want to go with it. You know, how about you, Jesse? I mean, how much time do you take? You know, like.
Yeah.
I mean, do you agree that not to rush into it?
Definitely. Like, patience is definitely the worst enemy when it comes to making customs. Sometimes you just want to finish it and you just want to have it ready. And I would say take it piece by piece. You know, sculpt the head. Maybe leave the head alone if you can. Start sculpting the body. Just try not to rush it, because sometimes when the clay is still wet, it's still trying to dry, you know, you might mess up the, you know, a cheek or an eye, whatever, or the nose. So just patience, just be patient with it and don't rush it. You know, like, if not, you're gonna ruin it, and then you're gonna
either
do it again.
or lose motivation.
Yeah.
And another thing to remember, guys. I mean, I know we got some youngsters out there. You know, y'all have time, but you know, me and Jesse, we work. You know, so, you know, we work, you know, 8 hour days, and then we still find time to create. So, you know, don't make excuses, you know, like, and I did that in the past. You know, just take it from me. Just, if you think you want to do it, just buy you some clay, buy you some cheap clay, and get started. You know, you never know. Your outcome the first couple of times might not be what you want, but just keep pushing through it. Keep pushing through it. You'll get better. I promise you. But you gotta put in the work. You know. I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Jesse?
I mean, definitely. Like, if you want to get started, just don't let nothing stop you, because if you don't do it, I mean, you're never gonna know if you're any good at it, and if you're not good at it, you'll eventually get to it. You'll get good at it. Because my first customs were, you know, trash, you know, especially my first Voltron, the first custom that I made where I painted with Sharpie.
Yeah.
The paint never dry. Every time you touched it, like, you have smudges in your hands with the Sharpie. Like the first customs are gonna be crap. Like, don't get discouraged. Keep doing it. Keep working at it. And sometimes when you post your first custom somewhere, like either on social media or on YouTube, wherever you post it, nobody's gonna like it. Nobody's really gonna appreciate it. But you don't mind those people, you know. Like,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
like, you have to.
That was your art. That was your creation.
Yeah.
It was your first, and if they can't understand that, then maybe they don't need to follow you. You know.
Yeah.
It's art. It's coming from the heart. You know. It's a gift. I mean, everybody has talent. You know. You just got to bring it out.
Yeah. So sometimes, like, when people don't understand the art. You know, sometimes they don't understand, or sometimes they're envious, because, you know, they're like, oh, I don't do that. I can't do that, but you can. So you're gonna receive a lot of hate at first. People are not gonna understand your work. People didn't understand my work when I first started the Marios. You know, nobody really cared for them. Like, when I first began, like, nobody asked me, "Hey, do this Mario."
Yeah, they were. Not to interrupt you, but they were pretty much telling Jesse, "Why are you destroying a perfect good figure?"
All the time. I mean, that's true. Like, to this day, I still get those comments, but not as much as I used to. Because back then, people didn't understand it. They're like, "Why are you doing this?"
Correct.
But now, you
built up your community of people who love what you do.
My Marios are literally shared around the world, you know, like in social media.
Yes.
I get people message me saying, look what they're sharing at a Brazilian Facebook page, whatever. And I'm so proud of that.
Yeah, like your Thanos.
Oh yeah. Which we should talk about that in a bit about trademarking and watermarking. I mean,
okay.
But yeah, man, nobody's gonna understand your art to begin with. You're gonna receive hate. You might not get any hate. You might just not get any attention. But if you keep working on it, and people eventually will understand it. So don't get discouraged. So
and build and work on, and after that, once you start getting your customs out there, just work on meeting like-minded people and build your community off of that.
Yeah. Like for example, when I started making customs, like I inspire so many people. A lot of you guys tell me all the time that you got inspired by me, and I got to inspire other people like Rick, and we build up a friendship because of customs. So inspire other people. You be the first one to make customs, and then you inspire other people. So yeah, just get started. There's no excuses. Like Rick was saying, we both of us work sometimes 8 hours a day or more, and you guys are. I'm not sure who's listening, but if you're a young person, get started on it. There's no excuse.
Yeah,
you got all the time in the world.
Yeah, to make mistakes and practice.
Mm-hmm. There's this kid on Instagram. His name is Collector Creations. I wouldn't say I inspired him to do customs, but he is doing amazing work at a very young age. And once he's my age, he's gonna surpass me. He's gonna
just imagine.
Yeah,
where he could be if he keeps going.
I think he's 13 or 15. I think.
Wow.
And his customs right now are legit. They're very good. And once he's my age, he's gonna be levels and levels beyond me, dude.
Yeah, but see, but that's like you said, that's an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
When you helped inspire somebody to do things like that. Which me, you're not gonna find any of my work anywhere because I'm kind of private.
Yeah. You're a ghost, basically.
Yeah. Jesse keeps telling me I'm the best artist he knows who's unknown.
Yeah. An unknown artist.
It's true. Someday I hope to get out there. But I'm still working on my skill level. Jesse tells him all the time, you just got to do it. So, I got to take his word for it, and I got to, get out there and, show people what I do, because he says I'm cheating everybody.
Yeah, you definitely are.
But you will get to see some of my customs on, this podcast. Jesse will post some pictures, and you'll get to see some of my work. And then eventually when I get to my Instagram or TikTok or wherever the platform may be, then Jesse can help me announce that, so everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you launch your platform, I'll be happy to relay it to you guys. So in a future video or whenever Rick decides to make a social media, I'll post it on. I'll advertise it every chance I get, because like I've been telling him, he cheats everybody. Like he robs everybody's admiration because he doesn't want to share his stuff anywhere. Not that he doesn't want to, but no, he's just not ready for it yet. I think one day I'm just gonna make a social media for you, man. Without telling you, dude, I'm just gonna start posting. I'm just gonna rob pictures from your Facebook, watermark them, put your name on it.
Yeah, I won't get mad at that. That's all good.
And then I'll be like, here, Rick, you got over 100 followers. Here, take over.
In saying that, guys, that'll probably come later for a lot of people. First you want to, like I always tell Jesse, he went for the 100 Marios, but I want to get quite a few, sculpts, customs underneath me, so I can have stuff to show y'all guys, and feel real proud to show it to y'all, but I still feel like I need to do more, and eventually, I feel like soon I'll be launching something, and like I said, Jesse, I'll get Jesse to help me on that end too.
Definitely. I think your nickname should be something like unknown artist, man. Like seriously, like secret artist or lost artist. How about that, lost artist?
I
Because
don't know. I mean,
like you've been doing cosplays and customs, for a very long time, and you don't share any. Like you have a catalog already in place,
yeah.
and like you're just a lost artist, man. Like an unknown artist, like people that like whoever built the Stonehenge, we don't know about them, but
Yeah.
we want to know about them.
Yeah, exactly.
But nobody knows who did them.
Yeah.
So
Nobody
it's
knows
like,
how they built the pyramids.
yeah,
So.
exactly, man. You're robbing us from your art. So one day, hopefully, you launch that.
Yeah, but like I said again, y'all will get to see some of my customs on this podcast.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about 3D printing. You recently bought a 3D printer. So how's that going?
Well, I was seeing some of these amazing things people were doing with the 3D printers, and I kind of felt like, it was gonna kind of help me go to the next level, or even my friends, like Jesse and other friends that I have that sculpt, like, as far as like making, I would say, props for them, like weapons or hats or shoes, uh, you know, uh, even bases for the figures. That's why I kind of went and pulled the trigger and bought a 3D printer. They're fairly cheap, believe it or not. I think I paid 180 for an Ender 3. Is what it's called. It comes with its own program, which is called a slicer. And if you start looking into it, you'll kind of learn what the terminology. But you have to set it up, guys. It doesn't come in one piece. So that's the first step. And then after that, there's phases to it. Then you have to learn how to level the bed. And then once you do that, then you're ready to like do your first print. And that's where I'm at right now. I haven't decided what print I want it to do, but I know it's going to be something small because I know I'm going to make some mistakes, and I don't want to waste any other. They call it PLA, which is like a plastic. And I mean, I'm early in the game, so I really can't tell y'all guys like, yeah, it's a good thing, or no, it's not a good thing. So, but I will, be keeping up. Jesse will be keeping up with my progress on that because he's very interested in the 3D printing himself.
Yeah. Actually, I am. There's another YouTuber named Wake Angel. I'm not sure if I talked to you about him before.
Yes, you have.
He does Sonic customs, and he uses the 3D printer, and I think it's amazing work. Eventually I'll like to get into it. So I think 3D printers are like the future, really. Like you can make. I think I heard that you can make like body parts or like a heart out of 3D printers or something like that.
So, and like delving into that and like doing research, like you can buy programs like one's called ZBrush, and you can pretty much, it's like sculpting with clay, but it's sculpting on the computer. And you pretty much sculpt on the computer and your model, and then you save it as a file, and then it can be printed on a 3D printer. So yeah, I think it's the thing of the future. But I mean, I think like guys like me and my Jesse and other like-minded people, we should keep sculpting with clay because we don't want it to be a lost art or a dying art. As far as that goes, 3D printing, yeah, let's go for it, but let's keep the sculpting up too.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I wouldn't want the sculpting to go away ever, but I can kind of see it that going into that direction.
It's kind of like the movies. They used to have people dress up in costumes. Now they use CGI. You kind of lose. I think you kind of lose something there. And I'm not saying that. I mean, they're like 3D printers are different levels. So there's PLA. There's other plastics you can use. There's glow in the dark stuff. And then the next step above that is resin printers. And the resin printers are amazing. Like but it's a process also when you get into that. And resin printers are still kind of expensive, and the programs that run them.
I would like to get into that the resin, but I feel like you need to start.
Yes.
You need to start crawling before you start walking. You know.
You want to start economical like we did with the clay.
Yeah, like um, nothing's really stopping me from getting a resin print, a 3D printer, but again, it's like what we're going back to what we were saying. Don't rush into things. You know, like take it step by step. You're not born walking. You're born crawling, and you get to that step eventually where you start walking. So it'd be a huge mistake on my part if I just go ahead and buy a resin 3D printer.
Yes.
I feel like
I wanted to get one too. You know, I saw the amazing stuff that we're doing, but I'm just like, you know, you're taking a chance, spending all that money, and then the programs, and then
use
find out that there's more to it than you thought, and it's gonna take time. So you know, I've had my 3D printer set up now probably like a month already, and I haven't touched it, guys. You know, because I'm still working on projects of my own, you know, sculpting and then work, and then, you know, I don't want to get, like Jesse said, I don't want to get unfocused on what I'm already trying to finish. So I'm going to finish all that stuff first, then try to start messing with the 3D printer and see what I can do with that. But I mean, it's still not going to stop me from sculpting though.
Definitely. But yeah, so 3D printing versus handmade, like sculpting wise, like this is the way I see this. Like when it comes to 3D printing, I feel like, well, first of all, I don't have a 3D printer, so I don't know if it's easy or hard, whatever. But for what I can tell, which I might be totally wrong, but I feel like anybody can 3D print.
Yes.
You buy a 3D printer, you download a file, or you buy a file and you just print it.
Yes, there's lots of files out there by a lot of talented people that sell their files to you, and you're printing. You know, you don't have to do anything, and you can pretty much find like almost anything you're looking for, to be honest. But like Jesse said, I think it takes away from the joy and the sense of accomplishment of sculpting your own figure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and which you can get into other things too, like, you know, you want to get into molding your own toys. You know, you can buy the stuff to mold, and then you can make multiple copies from that one copy you have. And I've been exploring that, and I'm trying to learn it so I can teach Jesse how to do it himself, so he don't have to, you know, try to reproduce that exact sculpt every time. Because when you make it multiple times, you sculpt it multiple times, not one of them is ever going to come out the same. So if you cast something, that's what they call it, casting, and you make a mold of it, I mean, you already have it halfway there. It's something you made, you're just copying it, and you still got to paint it, you still got to put all the details, and to get the end product, versus sculpting it from the ground. In other words, you're saving time, guys. That's all you're doing. You're saving you some time by molding it instead of starting it from the ground up. You're still appreciating it. It's still something you made, and you still got to paint it and add all the details to it. You just don't have to resculpt everything again.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I would love to learn that one day. So as soon as you master it, like, I want you to teach me.
Yeah, I've been practicing, and I'm trying to learn how to. You know, there's a process where you got to try to learn how to get the air bubbles out of it. I mean, please, guys. I mean, if you're interested in that, I mean, there's plenty of videos on YouTube. You know, just look up casting and molding figures.
Like, to come back to what I was saying, I feel like anybody can 3D print. So I feel like it's more impressive if you sculpt it.
Yes.
But I feel like when it comes to resin and you make your own file, like you actually sculpt it in
ZBrush or one of those.
Yeah,
programs.
like you actually sculpt it from scratch. I feel like that's where it's not easy. That's impressive.
Yeah,
right
because
there.
you're gonna have to have the proper tools, just like anything else. And most of those artists, they use what's called a tablet, and it's like drawing hence the name tablet. It's like drawing on a drawing pad. It has a little pen and it's a pad in front of you, and you just draw whatever you're gonna make. So, I mean, it's the tools are there. You just gotta have the vision, and I think a little talent plays into that too. But like Jesse said, I mean, if you want to get in 3D printing, I mean, there's files out there, and I mean, I've seen youngsters doing it. They even have 3D printers made for young kids. If they want to learn how to do that. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's not good. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'll recommend getting you one. They're cheap.
Yeah, definitely. Like I want to invest in a 3D printer in the future. But again, I think that's a good way to. I don't want to necessarily make all my customs in 3D printer. Or like I would like to make like accessories and.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm shooting for.
Yeah, like I don't know, maybe helmets or something. If, like for example, just throwing it out there.
Or
like
even,
a Darth Vader helmet for
like
Mario.
Said, even a base, a Mario base, like a block, or one of the little cubes that come out in the game, or or even one of the little mushrooms, or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I can see you doing that to add a little bit to what you're already doing.
Yeah. Is there a such thing as a 3D printer where you, I don't know, maybe I'm just making stuff up in my head. Like, is there something that you can like scan a toy and you can print it? Is that a thing?
I'm not 100% sure, but I am positive there is. I mean, and if anybody
cool.
listening to this has knowledge of 3D printers, and I mean, please let us know.
Because I would love for somebody to sculpt, like I'll give them a Waluigi toy to sculpt, to 3D print it again, but huge, like over 20 inches tall.
Kind of like a designer toy.
Yeah. Like I will pay a lot of money for that, dude. Like I wanted to make more Waluigi merchandise. I wouldn't mind paying for a first 4 figures Waluigi statue.
Yeah.
Those can go up to like 500 or more. Because they do a lot of Nintendo stuff. So if they ever make a Waluigi statue, dude, I'm buying one. Like, and if you ever get like so comfortable with your 3D printer, I want you to make me the biggest Waluigi thing you can make.
Oh,
dude.
yeah,
Like I'll pay for it.
Yeah,
like
I've seen files out there for Mario. I've seen files out there for Sonic. I mean, I've seen them for Bart Simpson. So yeah, I mean, once I get it going, I mean, I'll definitely hook that up.
Heck yeah, man! That'd be amazing, dude. Like I'll pay you so much money for a Waluigi statue. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Well, and in our case, it'll probably just be like pay for the plastic wire, the material.
I'll buy anything you need, dude, and plus your time, because I think that's another topic that we should talk about. When it comes to making things, people expect it to be so cheap.
Yeah.
For example, people will want to hire me to make a Mario toy, and I've sold a lot of Mario toys on Instagram to random followers or followers that I've been knowing for a while, and I sell them these Mario toys, and there's random people that will ask me, hey, how much for a Mario toy? And I'll tell them the price. They're like, man, why so much? That's too much. I mean, it's my art, like it's not easy to make. It takes a lot of time, energy, materials. So customs can't be cheap. What do you think about that, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Even though I haven't really sold any of my customs,
but you sold cosplays though.
Yes, but I have knowledge of people who do sell customs, and they're always telling me how people want to underbid them. I mean, guys, this is no different than artists painting a picture, a portrait. We're as sculptors, we're bringing ideas to life, and we're putting our time, of course, into it, and our vision and the love that it takes to create these things, our materials, which, and when in the beginning, like you said, they weren't expensive, but as we delve into it more, we start buying more materials.
Yeah.
So it does get up there after a while. But yeah, to me, I think it's insulting if an artist is asking, 150 for his figure, give him the 150. Don't say, oh, well, you take 80. I mean, to me, I think that's kind of an insult. You just insulted his artwork, like saying, well, it's good enough for $80, but it's not good enough for 150. So that's the way. I know not all people think that way, but I mean, to me, a true collector and a true person that appreciates art is going to pay whatever an artist asks for.
So, like, the way I see that is, if a toy that I like, there's just really no custom toys that I see out there that I like. I would rather make it myself than buy it sometimes. But if I do see a toy out there that I want, a custom toy that I want, I'll buy it. But if it's like ridiculously a lot of money, I'm not gonna say, oh, what's the best price?
You gotta be reasonable.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Yourself,
I'm not gonna insult him. I'm not gonna say, what's the best price. I'll say, man, that's a great work.
And I wish I could afford it.
Yeah, I wish I could afford it and walk away. But yeah, I mean, if it's too much, I mean, it's too bad, and it's too much. Then just walk away and tell him good work and keep on walking. Don't insult the man for charging a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you'll find that when you develop a relationship with an artist, a sculptor, painter, that down the line when you bought multiple pieces and stuff like that, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna give you a deal.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna we know that you're contributing and you love our art, and we're gonna show the love back. So that's another thing to think about. Support your local artists. Help them out as much as you can. I mean, whatever, even if it's just like, hey, I love your work. I mean, that inspires people, to keep going.
Or share their work.
Yeah. I mean, we don't mind if you take pictures, of the work that we do.
Just give us credit.
Yeah. Just don't be don't post it on your social media and say, hey, look what I made.
So we mentioned that about watermarking.
Yeah.
How important it is. So it's definitely important to watermark your things, because I made a Thanos Mario a long time ago, and it kind of went viral almost, and it's everywhere. If you Google Thanos Mario custom or Thanos Mario toy, you'll see a bunch of images on Google, like from all types of social medias and websites and stuff like that, and none of them give me credit because it had no watermark. So if you're gonna make things, you gotta watermark your things.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna have to watermark it, because I mean, Jesse's right. I mean, he found out from someone else that other sites were using his figure, and that's fine. Like you said, that's fine. Hey, all the more the dandy, but at least give the guy some credit. And that's one thing they didn't do.
Yeah. So if you ever see my stuff out there, just write it in the comments. Say like credit to Speed Up Jesse, or credit to my Instagram or whatever. Some of you guys have messaged me throughout the years saying, look what they're sharing, and they're not giving me credit. So, and some of you guys will write down in the comments credit to Jesse Collector 16, or credit to Speed Up Jesse, and I appreciate that. So Rick, when you ever make a social media watermark your things, please.
Yeah, I'll get you to teach me how to do that once I get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. You just download an app, and I think it's called Watermark or something. It's free. It's annoying because of the ads.
I remember once upon a time we were having a discussion about that, and I think I was like, I think I brought that up to you, like, why don't you watermark your stuff?
Yeah, now I learned the hard way.
Yeah. I mean, you try to trust people, and you try to trust your community, and you think everybody's got good intentions, but unfortunately, that's not how the world works. Like you're gonna have your haters, or your people that envy you because they can't do what you do. But the question I throw out to them is like, have you tried? So, I mean, I mean, anybody, if you put your mind to it, you'd be surprised of what you can do.
Yep. Like when I first got started, when I first started making customs, I didn't know I was good at it, or that I eventually was gonna be good at it. My first customs were crap, and uh, I would have never known if I didn't try. And look where I am now. I mean, I'm no Picasso,
Yeah.
but my art is getting kind of known. Like if it
Yeah, you're getting compliments from people who make Marios. You're getting compliments from other people, YouTubers. You know, and again, it's like he's building his own community, and that's what you should shoot for. People who are going to support you, and you support them.
And again, if you want to get into customs, go for it. But just remember, you're not gonna get love at first. And if you are one of the lucky few that do get love, then appreciate that. But at first, you might get hate. You might not get no attention. You might get no likes. But if you keep on pushing,
don't get discouraged.
Yeah, like you're gonna get out there if you keep trying. Because at first, when I first started making YouTube videos, nobody liked. Nobody saw anything. I keep refreshing the page where I can get my own views up.
Watch your own videos.
Yeah. Like I'll go to watch. When I first started, yeah, like I'll go to different parts of my house and watch my YouTube videos. Yeah, where I can gain that views, dude. It was that sad. That's how you start, really. I mean, like nobody's gonna be watching at first, but eventually people will watch.
I think what helps is like when you get other like-minded people, who kind of appreciate what you're doing, and then at the same time, you should also, if they shout you out, you should also shout them out on your channel or Instagram or whatever your platform is.
Yeah. All right. So, before we end this video, what do you like to collect, Rick? Tell them what you like to collect.
Yeah, me, my main focus is sci-fi horror. Like Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers. Your standard horror icons. That's what I like to collect. I also collect outside of that. Like vintage stuff like He-Man. The Castle Grayskull, Thundercats. Stuff from the 80s. I even own. I am privileged enough to own some pieces from Jesse. So I do own some custom work from him and other artists. I try to support everybody. That's I think that kind of sums it up. I mean, the vintage toys and the horror icons, and then some customs. And I kind of have I got a bunch of display cabinets, because to me that makes your figures stand out. The lighting and depending on how you want to set them up. I mean, what about you, Jesse? I mean, most people know what you like to collect, but maybe there's some stuff that they don't know.
I mean, most of my collection involves Nintendo. I used to collect a little bit of everything, like He-Man, Voltron, but for the sake of my wallet, I try to just keep it down to just one thing. I do have some anime stuff here and there, some Marvel, some Star Wars, but it's very little. Like you comparing to Nintendo things, like it's very little. The rest.
Yeah, like I mean, guys, you should see his room.
Oh yeah. He is in my room right now, looking at all my collection right now.
It's amazing, guys. It'll blow your mind. I mean, he's got Bleach. Going outside. He's talking about outside the realm. I'm looking around, and I mean, video games. Vintage video games. Of course, Nintendo oriented. I mean, some pretty decent anime figures. He got the Gorillas, the whole band up there. They look like they're about 12-inch figures.
Yeah.
And then of course, Mario everywhere, and as I'm looking up, I'm seeing Waluigi, like
a bunch of Waluigis.
like over 30 boxes of the same figure. You know, I mean, when it comes to the stuff he loves, I mean, and y'all guys love to see it's here in his room.
Well, like I was telling you, I don't let a lot of people see my room. I don't. Only friends, like really close friends, like you, Mike. You've met Mike on my previous podcast. If you would listen to it, guys. And Mike is our mutual friend too.
Yeah. Mike's a good friend of mine also. Very very unique character. But you know he's been a real good friend of ours, and I mean he still continues to be a good friend. You know, I'm very proud of him. You know, he made that step to get into the Marine Corps, and I'm a fellow Marine, so you know that makes me happy because he said I inspired him. You know, so that makes me feel great that he wanted to serve his country as well. Um, you know, way to go, Mike, if you're listening to this. You know.
Yeah, I love Mike, man. He's a wild card, but he's great, man. He's like one of my best friends in the world, man. I try to keep my circle very close, like very small, which you're in it, Mike's in it, and some people might want to get into my circle, but I don't really let them. You know, like I always try to keep it small. I do have like I guess friends,
acquaintances.
Yeah,
or
they'll
people you can hang out with.
Yeah. They're like they cross the line almost sometimes to friends.
Yeah.
But like friends is just you and Mike really.
Yeah. And just to let y'all know, guys, this is the first time I ever been to Jesse's house. Ever. And I mean, the same for him. He's never been to my home, but we're gonna work on that.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah. You don't get. What do you think about my Marios?
I mean, man, dude. I mean, I look at all these Marios and I'm just like, man, amazing work. Very inspirational. I mean, guys, you gotta be here to like really appreciate them because pictures don't do these figures any justice. I mean, and to hold these things in your hand, it's like, wow, you know, you did this, Jesse. You know, like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and he's covered like, I think every movie Greer versus music too. I mean, you got Scorpion Mario, you got Dragon Ball Z Mario, Buzz Lightyear Mario. You know, you got Michael Myers Mario. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, a very unique Mario collection. You know, he tells me all the time, man. Maybe someday I'll get to put my stuff in a Nintendo museum. I think it's possible. You know, I think it's very possible.
I would love to one day donate my, like you were saying, like I would love to donate my Marios to a museum or a video game museum, on the condition of they should always be displayed.
And if they know who the artist is.
Yeah. And if they don't display it, give it back to my family.
Actually, man, I think like, you should do, you know, shows. You know, like we've talked about this before. You know, like, and maybe that could be another podcast, you know. But I mean, I honestly think that you, myself, and other like-minded people should, you know, get into like custom toy shows, you know, so people can appreciate our work and purchase some pieces, you know, and that way, you know, we can kind of gauge, you know, how well is this accepted, you know, in the community versus, you know, our social media or your social media and other people's social media. So I mean, that's just something for us to think about.
Yeah, build up a community like-minded, like you said, and if you guys want to join our community, I mean, you're more than welcome. You know, just start making customs. You know, and maybe one day, you know, you join our community of custom. We try to make a community here locally, like Houston and Texas. But I mean, more the merrier, really. I mean, so just get to it. Don't have any excuses. Just start working. So, yeah. Thank you so much for it. Thank you for coming over, and thank you for the huge compliment on my Marios, man. Like seriously.
I mean, I'm just telling the truth. You know that. I mean, like I said, guys. I mean, I wish I could be here to see this, but I know he's posted pictures in the past, but like I said, it doesn't. Those photos don't do it any justice.
Appreciate
And
it.
I like to sit and I like to take time to thank Jesse for everything he's done for me. He doesn't realize, but he's inspired me greatly. He's taught me other things other than sculpting, and I really appreciate that too. And for him to allow me into the circle is I feel privileged, and it's a great thing. So thank you, Jesse.
No problem, bro. Like seriously, like you're a good guy, a genuine good guy. So I'm honored for you to be my friend. So, um, and I learned a lot from you too. Like oh, I was about to cuss. I have learned so that was my inner mic. I learned so much from you, dude. Like seriously, like no lie.
Well, just to let y'all guys know, there is an age gap here, but if you met me, I mean, people tell me this all the time. You would have never known that there's an age gap, So I'm gonna leave that up in the air for your imagination on how old I am, but I probably got Jesse by 20 years, maybe.
Dang it. Yeah, like I think this hobby keeps people young. Like if you collect toys,
yeah, there's no age limit.
Yeah, like you stay young if you like this type of stuff. And a lot of people tell me I forget how old I am, dude. Like I still think I'm 20.
Yeah.
I still think I'm 20, but I'm actually 28. Which man, I feel like I'm getting I'm getting old. But a lot of people tell me I look 20. So this hobby keeps us young.
Yeah, it keeps you young minded, young at heart. Like I said, there's no age limit. I mean, even if we have some older people listening, man, pick up some clay.
It's never too late to start.
Yeah, it's never too late.
If you're 10 years old right now, who cares? Like, pick it up. Who cares? Pick it up. If you're 70 years old right now, just pick it up, man. Start working on it.
Even if you got Play-Doh, they got stuff to sculpt out of Play-Doh.
Work on Play-Doh, man. Grab Play-Doh. Start sculpting. I think one of my earliest customs too were like made out of clay.
Yeah.
I mean made out of Play-Doh. I made like a little Kirby.
Yeah, I got a custom, and I'll probably send Jesse a picture so he can post it. My first custom was made out of paper clay, and
that's tough. That's tough to make.
And that stuff cracks, and it's but yeah, y'all definitely get to see that.
You're gonna send me a lot of pictures of your cosplays and your customs. But yeah, I mean, and if next episode, eventually we would like to talk more about customs. If you guys want to hear more about customs, but we would like to dive into what's it called?
Cryptids.
Cryptids.
Yeah, we would. I mean, if y'all guys would like, we would like to delve into other areas, and us being Latinos, we're a very superstitious people.
La Llorona.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of, history from the motherland. Even here in America. So yeah, we would. If y'all guys would like to hear some stuff like that, personal stories that we have, paranormal or cryptids.
I definitely got a scary story, dude. I'll save it for another episode.
But let us know if you would like to hear something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned for that because we would like to talk more about topics. Come back to talking more about customs. Because I really enjoy talking about customs, man. Yeah. I can talk about customs all day.
Same here, man. I mean, and you're gonna find too that you start working on a custom or an idea. Let's say you started around noontime. The next thing you know, it's midnight.
Yeah.
And you're so involved in it, and you're so have all your endorphins in your brain, like, because you're amazing yourself at what you're doing, you lose track of time.
Dude, like, I kid you not, dude. Sometimes I'm at work, and all I'm thinking is making customs. And when I'm at work, 1 hour feels like 5 hours. But when I'm working on a custom for an hour, it's like 20 minutes.
Yes.
I kid you not, man. It's so frustrating. Like, every time I work and then I look up and it's time to go to sleep already.
Same here. I mean, like, especially when I'm motivated or I've seen something on the way to work, or something that's kind of popped into my mind, like, oh man, that'll make an awesome custom, you know. So I find myself at work, kind of like,
I want to leave.
yeah, like let me check my phone for some pictures, you know, like, you know. So yeah, I mean, you'll find yourself doing that, you know, but it's all good. It's healthy, you know,
Yeah.
as long as you don't get caught.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rick, for coming over,
no
and
problem,
I am looking forward to making more episodes.
Same here.
Even though nobody watches, I still want to make more episodes because this is fun.
Yeah.
It's better than just me talking by myself for a long time.
No worries. I'm, you know, y'all guys want me to come back, you know, let Jesse know, and I'm here, man. I'm
Sounds
here
good.
for y'all guys.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thank you so much for listening in, and follow my social media like TikTok. I post a lot on TikTok and my Instagram. I'm definitely active there. And one day we'll plug in Rick's social media whenever he stops deciding to be a unknown artist. All right.
All right, thank y'all guys.
All right. Peace out, guys, and take it easy. Okay. Until the next one.